there is one element on Earth that all life is most dependent on. Without it, there wouldn't be all the species that have evolved today. Let's step into the Western Ghats as temperatures rise and see how jungle birds compete with one another when the most precious resource on the planet begins to dry out. Of the many species that come here to cool off, one of them in particular is what my heart is largely set on. This is the Indian Paradise Flycatcher. I saw it for the first time when I was 10 years old, and it took only 2 long decades until I got to see it again. Stick around for the entire episode. We're about to become part of a very special flock. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Kenneth Lawrence, and this is the series finale of Part of the Flock, a bird photography series where I take you behind the scenes and bring you some of nature's most breathtaking moments up close. Although it's spring in the Western Ghats at Mumbai's outskirts, daytime temperatures can touch 38 degrees Celsius. It's hotter here than other places during their summer. This shallow puddle is all that remains of the previous year's monsoon. And its fast evaporating water is in high demand. Sitting quietly in a makeshift hide is the best way to observe and document the various bird species found here. Perches erected around the water encourage the birds to come closer. Because of work and travel commitments, this single episode was shot over a period of 5 years. I used a whole bunch of cameras and lenses along the way, and eventually I even experimented by throwing a super telephoto zoom lens onto a DJI Ronin.
Yesterday I got the brown moth of the Indian Paradise Flycatcher, which is the rufous moth, and I'm hoping I can get the white moth.
The first year was a tough one. I visited twice that season, but I didn't make a single satisfactory image of the Indian Paradise Flycatcher. White-trumped munias had taken over the waterhole. This white-throated kingfisher served as a little bit of consolation. I wasn't able to visit the hide again because I was filming the Deserts of India series in the Little Run of Kutch. The second year, my luck got a tiny bit of an upgrade. This female was my first sighting. She has a much shorter tail compared to the male. With the water becoming scarce, she seizes the moment for a quick outdoor shower. A subadult male came along. He looks almost identical to the female except for his darker throat that helps to identify him. Male paradise flycatchers sport long tail feathers when they enter their second year. I managed a few stills of the rufous moth as it expelled the excess water. If you notice this individual's wings, you can see his dichromatic plumage slowly turn from rufous to white. I had to leave the hide once again to shoot a broadcast documentary on Asiatic lions. The third year is when my luck started to change. I began taking this waterhole a lot seriously. A brown-cheeked fulvetta arrived before sunrise. It's wise to be the early bird and take advantage of the puddle before the others arrive. Even warblers are early to rise. A big shout out to Canon India for letting me borrow the RF 800mm lens for additional close-ups.
You've got to constantly monitor the trees on top as well as the bird song to be able to know what's coming before it comes.
A female paradise flycatcher was quick to follow. These fellas are quite shy and their bathing happens in a flash. Multiple such dips should eventually cleanse every feather. A Tickles blue flycatcher joined in as well. So did an orange-headed thrush. These two species aren't as shy as the paradise flycatcher. They like to spend a little more time enjoying both a drink and a shower. Solo dips take a hit when white-rumped munias gang up. Miniature mobsters, they rely on strength in numbers as they claim the entire puddle for themselves. Rosefinches, flycatchers and the others will just have to wait out their turns on the perch. Those who don't like waiting can choose to come back another time. So far, the water break has been peaceful for everybody. But harmony cannot last forever. Disputes are always around the corner. This male rosefinch gets a little bit fussy with the ladies. He wants a bathing spot that's just right. Not too deep and not too shallow. When the opposition has the majority, even an ashy drongo must keep its distance. It's rather surprising because drongos are well known to be notorious challengers. As for this drongo, maybe things could change when backup arrives. The waterhole is now theirs to rule. Anybody else who wants to cool off will have to go through them first. Even a white-bellied drongo joined the party. If only this black-naped monarch arrived sooner. Now it's his turn to be a spectator. All these dives could have been his. But instead of becoming impatient, the monarch studies the drongo's dive patterns. If he's fast enough, he can sneak in a quick dip.
I am just going through my photographs. I've never seen so many species of birds in just an hour and a half. And last year and the year before that, when I was here, I did not see much activity at all. And that kind of discouraged me from coming back because there were shikras around. And when there's a bird of prey, all of the little passerines and other birds just head out for cover. You can see just how small and delicate these little guys are. Every moment they're out to drink water or to bathe is basically life and death. They're constantly on the lookout because their life is on the line. And as soon as they dip in, as soon as they've had their little shower, they just fly away.
With most of the species having finished their morning rituals, the stars of this episode made their appearance. There were multiple Indian Paradise Flycatchers, all of them claiming their own perch, and all of them diving one after the other. This was the individual I was waiting for, the white moth, the epitome of grace, and the same bird I saw over 2 decades ago. I spent a good amount of time with them and also documented intimate close-ups. Once everyone's cooled off, mingling with one another is slowly tolerated. There is one species whose tolerance is still a work in progress. This is a Greater Racket-Tailed Drongo, another spectacle of the avian world. He wishes to bathe just like the others, but his privacy is a little more precious. With the miniature mobsters having returned, the Drongo's arrival couldn't be more poorly timed. Flying away and waiting for the Munyas to be gone will not work.
And the racket-tailed Drongo is sitting on top of the perch and it's just looking at all of the munyas down below.
It's time to tap into a special ability. Mimicking the calls of a Crested Hawk-Eagle sends the mobster scattering for safety. Becoming a vocal shapeshifter is who this Drongo was born to be. I had to leave this location yet again because I was shooting a leopard documentary for a European broadcaster. My 4th season had come by. This was my chance to get a high-speed photo of the Paradise Flycatcher diving into the water. I focused largely on video the previous years and I didn't capture any action stills. To my misfortune, it was the onset of summer and the end of the flycatcher season. A few species did visit the waterhole, but not the one I've been longing for. This shikra scanning for a meal meant that I had to wait a whole nother year all over again. I said I wanted to photograph action shots, but technology had improved during this period and I wanted to try something entirely different.
This year, the 5th consecutive time, I'm not going to be using my 200 to 400 f4. I'm not going to be using the RF 800. I'm going to be mounting the 100 to 500. There's no tripod this time. We've got the DJI RS4 Pro and we're going to attempt to get a 500mm focal length on this guy. I've balanced the gimbal with the focal length at 400mm, and what that's going to do is whilst shooting I can zoom out until maybe 300 and I can zoom until 500 without putting too much of a load, and I won't have to constantly rebalance and recalibrate the gimbal. These birds are just way too fast and I can't miss a single shot and a single opportunity. We're gonna first practice how to operate with a 500mm on gimbal. This is the first time I'm doing this, and it's all about being as slow as possible because this extreme focal length just magnifies every little bit of movement. And right now I cannot stand up, so I'm only forced to sit down and move from left to right, just replicating some slider shots. The shots seem to be quite satisfactory, especially for preliminary tests. Not as smooth as I would like it to be, but I cannot complain because this is quite literally take 1 for 500mm on the gimbal. And we're gonna wait for our star of the show to show up once again. The Paradise Flycatcher has come.
After testing the extreme combination and being somewhat satisfied by it, it was finally time to focus 100% on bird photography. More precisely, bird in flight and action photography. These mountains at the outskirts of Mumbai are nothing short of paradise for all kinds of birds and animals. Fresh and clean sources of water are the foundations of a healthy ecosystem. Some of the birds that flock here can also be found in the urban jungle. It's my favorite habitat of all, and one that's most overlooked. If you enjoyed this episode, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Your support will help me continue to tell stories of the wild and connect more people with the natural world. I'll see you in a brand new series in Tadoba National Park.